Let's talk about how I'm going to attach this newel post to the floor. There's probably better ways to do it than the way I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. I came across these little brackets, and I tell you the truth, I don't even remember what they're for. I've got 4 or 5 of them. Came across them, I'm going to use them. What I'm going to do is, imagine this is the base of the newel post. I'm going to put these brackets on there like that, and then run screws down into the floor. Now, like I said, there may be better ways of doing that, but actually I've seen kits that have these little brackets in it, so I think it's going to work fine. The problem, obviously, on our cool looking newel post, we don't want an ugly aluminum bracket showing. So I'm going to have to put some casing around it, and I was going to do that anyway, just to kind of make it look a little more beefy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1x4, an oak 1x4, and I'm going to cut just a casing profile into it. And the way I'm going to do that is I've got this little raised panel bit, and I'm going to set that up in the router table and cut that neat casing profile. Now, the problem is this bracket takes up, I think that's about 1/8 of an inch, so obviously our casing's not going to be able to mash up against it, and it'll leave a gap. So I'm going to have to cut some reliefs in the back of our casing like that. See that? Kind of like that. And that way, the newel post and the bracket and the casing, I don't know if you can see that, but this won't interfere with the casing being able to go onto the newel post. So that's the way I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show you how right now. Attaching this post is pretty straightforward, but you got to be really careful getting everything laid out. And to me, that's the hardest part of these kinds of projects. It's a lot harder to me to spend all the mental anguish getting something laid out than it is to actually build the thing. I have another post down here, so obviously I need to make sure that they're squared up to one another. You got to make sure your post is level and plumb and everything. This is the neatest device I've ever used right here. And it just lays on there. Then you can use your shims here to kind of shim it up and get it square and plumb. And that works really good. I think I paid $5 or $10 for that little thing, post level. You can see how our brackets work here. Pretty straightforward. The hardest part of this is getting that first bracket set into place and keeping the post squared up and plumb. Once that first bracket's in, the rest of them are not hard at all to deal with. Use a drill bit. I don't know what size that is. I don't know. I can't see that. I can't see close anymore. It kind of aggravates me. Drill some pilot holes. And then just run your big old long screws down in there. That's really all there is to it. So let's go ahead and run these screws in. We'll be done with this part. there we are. So there we have that post attached now, and I'm really pleased with how secure it is. I wasn't real sure when I started this how these little bracket, the whole bracket concept was going to work, but this thing is as secure as any post I've ever seen. So I don't think I'm going to have any problem with it as far as that goes. Now, really all I have to do is come in here with our casing, and you can see how these reliefs that we cut into it, how they function of going over top of that bracket without interfering. And I'll tell you, we get that done, and this project is in the books. This is definitely precision work, so we'll take our time just to make sure we get nice tight seams in the corners. What I'll do is I'll just put just a little smidge of glue right in here, not much, just enough to let it tack pretty good. And then I'm just going to pin nail this. I'll pin nail the corners and maybe pin nail it around the top. That way you won't really see any nail holes or anything like that, and we'll be done once we have it all together. So let's go ahead and get started. All I want it to do is just kind of tack. I believe that's it. Well, our Newel post project is in the books, and I couldn't be more pleased with how it turned out. Didn't have any big disasters, had a pretty big do-over, but no big disasters, and it turned out just tickled to death with it. This thing looks custom, it's unique, it's one of a kind, and we can be proud of it because we built it with our own hands using our own tools. I love the hardwood elements that we put on here. It adds some contrast, but in the grand scheme of things, everything still kind of makes sense. Remember to sign your work. I talk about that in my other videos, but come in here somewhere, like take the cap off on this one and sign your work. So 100 years from now, somebody will know that Grandpappy or Grandmammy built this post. I went ahead and built a section of the handrail, and I'm really pumped with how that turned out and how it looks together and how everything ties in. In fact, I may do a follow-up video on how to build this handrail. So overall, it's a good project. I know the magic of Hollywood makes it seem like I did this in an afternoon, but you'll be on this project longer than an afternoon. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something or got some ideas. If you liked the video, remember to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave me some comments. Thanks for watching.